Alright, welcome back to Shaving with Fuzzy. I'm Fuzzy. Hi y'all on Saturday afternoon. So I'm going to work what has gotten to be a rarer weekend overnight shift. I'm going to work tonight. We had some shuffling around on the supervisory level, and we don't have a weekend night shift supervisor right now, so we're all just kind of filling in. And one of the other supervisors did it last weekend, and I'm going to do tonight, and keep things going. That's often the name of the game. That's just how it goes sometimes. So it's Saturday, it's the 16th, and we went out and did the vote thing today. I went and put my vote in. Here in Louisiana, there's been some controversy over some stuff that happened everybody might have heard of, and there was all kinds of controversy. I didn't understand it all. So I was able to go down and show my ID. Here in Louisiana, we've had to show an ID to vote every time I voted, if I remember correctly. Not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. But anyway, there was a little bit of a hassle. There were some folks. You're always going to have some folks that don't have their ducks in a row. And sometimes they don't even know where their ducks are, and I'm pretty sure a couple of them are pigeons. But you're always going to have some folks that are having issues, and there's processes for working through that kind of stuff, and they just have to work the process. So I got behind a couple of folks that had to work the process. And when I got up there, the lady, the poll worker there, very, very friendly. You can tell she's had a very long day. I mean, I got there at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, something like that. So she's had a fairly long day already. And she accidentally looked up the wrong name, and she was having me fill out paperwork that I really didn't think I needed to, but I was going with the flow. You know, if it's a process, it's a process. But she finally looked back and said, "Oh, wait, all you got to do is sign the book." Same thing I do every time. So anyway, got my vote cast. And I never will understand that I'm not going to vote crowd. I voted for people before that I was pretty sure wasn't going to win, but that was my choice, and that was the way I felt about it. And if anybody goes back and looks at those numbers, they can say, "Hey, this number of people thought different." It may be somewhere down the line that'll matter. But anyway, I try to always vote. I'm not the perfect little angel on it. But I do try to get a vote in, and we're going to have I guess it's going to be kind of a special election. The Supreme Court said that a map that the legislature adopted for congressional districts was not constitutional. And that's raised a bunch of brouhaha around here. And it's like, you can't really blame the governor for that one. They tried. And the Supreme Court, someone sued them, made it all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said, no, you can't do that. And then they want to go ahead and finish up the election and have the election because a few people, people put in early votes. I get it. But they're in districts that are not constitutional. Why are you going to vote for something that's just going to get it? Anyway, everybody's all up in arms about that. But that's my political talk for today. Burma shave soap. Now, people get nostalgic for things because they want to remember it the way they remember it. That's just the way it is. The original Burma shave was a brushless cream. Now, I don't know if everybody knows that or everybody cares. And then after that went down, I think the name and everything was bought, was it Palmolive that bought it? And then they made it into a cake soap. And that soap is everything. Everybody gets kind of nostalgic over Burma shave. But the original soap was not the cake soap. Anyway, I've got Burma shave soap, and probably from the 80s. Little Burma shave brush. Little bore brush. They are neither spectacular or dismal. They get the job done. And I have seen an Ever-Ready brush. It was an exact replica. I won't say replica, but it looked just the same. But I think this is actually the Burma shave. Neither one of the brushes, the Ever-Ready, I think it was an Ever-Ready, or the Burma shave actually had anything on them to say the name. But I'm pretty sure this here is a Burma shave brush, and the soap does as good a job as any. I don't know that I like it as much as I like vintage Williams or Colgate, but it is a vintage soap. I mean, it's, you know, from back when, and it does a good job, and I like having it, and I've got several cakes of it here, there, and there. I used to buy the little gift sets, Christmas sets and stuff. I think I still got one that's sitting there. It had the Burma Shave coffee cup, which I don't know where my Burma Shave coffee cup got off to. I think somebody took it. But it had a little Burma Shave mug with a soap and a brush in it and all that kind of good stuff. Oh, and for a razor today. So something I haven't used in a long time. The one blade cord. Now, I don't use a lot of newfangled razors. I just don't. This one is uses the feather. Where'd I put those blades? It uses the feather single edge, which is the same one that you can use in a lot of the auto strops. It has the same problem that I think most feather blades, or basically all feather blades, have. It's too sharp, and I think when you over sharpen a blade, it doesn't last as long. I mean, we use, you know, skinning knives. If you don't work a good bevel into it, it's just, you know, you can be razor sharp and you make 2 or 3 slices and it's dull as can be. I don't think the feathers are. A lot of people get all ecstatic about them, and I'm not on that train. I think they're harsh to start with, and I don't think they hold their edge as long as other blades. But as long as they're sharp and they work fine. And like I said, you can use them in the auto strop, so that's a plus. So this thing actually pivots. I don't think it needs to pivot. I used to make fun of a guy who would use a razor that pivoted, and he would always talk about that's how he could get a BBS shave, because that razor just worked for him, and I always made fun of him not being able to use a real razor and having to rely on gimmicks and stuff. There's no need for a razor to pivot. I don't press hard enough on this one for it to pivot. I just use it for what it is. And this will be the last shave on this blade. I think it's going to shave okay, but I don't always remember how many shaves the blade's got on it. I hadn't used this razor in a while. But I mean, it does a good job. It's a solid razor. I think they had a couple of different versions. Now this is just a you know, a day and a half or so growth. It's nothing spectacular anyway. But it's gonna do a good job. But this is the one blade core, if I remember correctly. Another one that was gifted to me at some point, because I don't buy very many, you know, newfangled razors. There we go. I think we got that. Yeah, this blade's struggling some, but it's going to get through this here shave just fine. Yeah, we're going to do good. I've noticed sometimes when a blade, even if it feels kind of rough, you still get a good shave out of it. And this is going to be one of those shaves. Blade's feeling kind of rough, but it's going to be a good shave. We're going to finish up with something you don't see much anymore. Barbasol. I still got some Barbasol aftershave laying around. If I remember correctly, this one was one of Ordinary Shaver's favorites. Right there. Good old Pacific Rush Barbasol. If I was a real good buddy, when I knew it was one of his favorites, I'd have sent it to him, but, you know, didn't happen. Come across here, just across the grain, because we ain't going to do no against the grain. Don't see the point in it. But anyway, typical stuff around here. It's starting to get warming up for summertime. It's in the 80s. I think we finally hit 90. What was it, last week or the week before? We had our first 90-degree day. Pretty much right on course. They're talking about it's going to be a strong El Nino this year, at least to start with. And that's okay, because my understanding is that that'll help keep the hurricanes down. It'll affect the Atlantic hurricane season. And we've been about 3 years now since we really had a hurricane to battle around here, and that's quite okay. I have no issues not having them. We're far enough inland here that by the time they get here, they're usually not as bad as they were anyway, but they can still definitely still cause problems. So not having some for several years is not a problem, folks around here. We're okay with it. By golly. Now that my sister's living further north than she used to, not as big a worry when hurricanes come in over there, so that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But anyway, so that's getting to be summertime in Louisiana here, down in the more southern part. There are definitely people further south to Louisiana than I am, but this is definitely southern Louisiana. I saw the mosquito spraying truck's been running for a while now, but I'm pretty sure, I'm almost positive, I saw the spray plane flying the other night. So it's getting to be that time of year too when this mosquitoes show back up. We got some of them Texas-sized skeeters. They always got to decide if they're going to eat on you where you are or they're just going to carry you off somewhere. We can definitely get some skeeters around here, man. Get us a little witch hazel going. I damn a fan of the witch hazel for the touch-up pass. Oh, that feels pretty good, actually. We're going to go and get us a clean-up pass here. Everything all be ready for work tonight. At least part of the shift's going to be kind of busy. I've been putting a few things off with the, like I said, we've had a shake-up in the supervisor. You know, we've all been dealing with issues and just making it work. We have a good supervisor team. We've all just been making it work, but I put off a few things, administrative stuff, that I need to catch up on. So a 12-hour overnight shift can be a real good time to catch up on administrative stuff at work. I've got some monthly equipment checks to do that we're responsible for, and a few things like that. There's always something needs doing. But anyway, so we went from a day and a half growth to that right there, and that ain't bad at all. Not bad at all. Got it all cleaned up. The one blade cord did a fine job. I mean, it's a newfangled thingy, but if you can keep steady pressure and angle, and it's a sharp blade, it's going to shave. Razor's a razor, blade's a blade, right? And that's what you come into. So I still appreciate getting it as a gift, and I still use it every once in a while. All right. Ooh, that Pacific Red. That's a nice scent. I always like that scent. I think you could get that in the Barbershop Save Cream, but you can still get it. I think they had a Pacific Rush. I could be wrong. But anyway, that's it right there. Barbershop Pacific Rush. With some Burma shave and a Burma shave brush and a one blade cord. If you're thinking about getting one, if you like newfangled thingies, you don't mind paying a little bit more for blades. These are a little bit more expensive than the like the Treat or the Gem single edge blades. They're spineless, but again, they're the ones that you can use. And this is a auto strop A, but they're the ones you can use in the auto strops. There is one of the ballet auto strops that those do not work in, but it's just one model, and I don't think it's a very popular model. I don't have one. I've never run across it, but I've heard about it. Other than that, you can use it in all the different reiterations there. So there you go. All right, well, I'm going to finish some coffee up, and then I'm going to get ready for work. We're going to go in and make 12 hours that end up as overtime. Never a bad thing. Hope things are going good for you. If you haven't done it yet, get out and vote. It's important. Part of what we do in this country, I think, although I'm not going to get all preachy and sentimental on a soapbox, but it's just, I think it is part of it. I think a lot of people that have problems are just people that want everything handed to them. So don't be someone that wants everything handed to you. Go out and do your part. That's what Fuzzy says for today. Go out and do your part. All right. Whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, hope you got as good a shave as I did. Happy shaves to you.